Hello, welcome to this vlog. I'm just sitting on a beach at the minute, so yeah, hopefully you can hear me. The waves are crashing, there's a bit of wind, so hopefully when I post this video it won't be too much of an issue. But in this video I just want to talk about percepted reality, and what that means really, and how it influences people in the world. Because obviously each and every one of us are having our own experience, our own subjective experience while we're here on Earth. And we're fed a reality based on what our upbringing is, or what we go through, or what education we've had, what social class we're in, what country we've lived in, and so on and so forth. But the thing is, there's a power in this world, the god of this world, which is the negative power, Satan. And he influences the thoughts and the consciousness of the subjects, which is us, although we don't have to submit and be his subject, because Christ can liberate us from that. And he does this through methods of deception, through perception or perceived reality, as I'm talking about, through the media, through sciences, through politics, through economics, and so on. The list is endless. He's infiltrated every area of society. And through these systems of governance, he is able to manipulate people's view of the world and how they perceive that world. And social media is a massive one, for example. How many people sit on their social media, their Facebook or Twitter accounts, and get all their information from the feeds, from the things they look at? And more importantly, who's controlling that information they are receiving through those mainstream platforms? Because what I mean by perceived reality of all of us is that the negative energy of Satan in this world, dark energy, is trying to manipulate our conscience to do his will, to do his bidding, and to get us away from the energy of Jesus Christ, which is love. And so basically, when people spend all their time plugged into this, I don't know what to call it, this box of information, the internet of all things, and they get all their information from what is posted on their social media feeds, or what is talked about on the BBC or CBN or Fox News or whatever it is, and they're getting all their information from these sources, then they're going to have a perceived reality of the events which are unfolding in this world, which is in alignment or aligns with what the devil wants people to think. And this is happening. The recent events, it's COVID-19. If you've read the news, the George Floyd death. He was killed sadly at the hands of police brutality. It won't be the last case, sadly, and there'll be other cases in the future, and it wasn't the first, which is tragic. Obviously, police brutality and the violence which the state subjugates to us is obviously problematic, and it's wrong, and it is evil, and it is a manifestation of that evil power. Then there's the COVID-19, obviously. People are anxious, people are running around in fear, just bowing down to the whims of the government, everything they want. They're taking all our liberties and our freedoms away, all in the name of keeping people safe. That's a big subject. Obviously, there's a lot to cover with that. But as in the case of all these things, whether it be George Floyd, COVID-19, climate change, anything, just anything, any protest which you see being streamed on the mainstream media in the 21st century is a product of this directed perception. Obviously there's a plan and an agenda, and they want everyone on earth to believe this mainstream narrative. Those that dissent and those that question the mainstream narrative are ridiculed as conspiracy theorists or idiots or sheep or whatever other slanderous name we are given. But the point is what I'm trying to make, is when we plug into these technological systems of control, the phone, mobile phones, of social media, the TV, our computers, the newspaper, the printing press, which is obviously not a bad thing, it's the way it's used with most things, that people only understand what that reality is. They don't understand any other reality which is given to them, because they've been taught through school, through the education system they've been brought up in, they've been birthed. Well, I say they, it's all of us, we're all a prisoner of it to one extent or the other. But basically, yeah, we're all born into this system of deception, control and manipulative reality, which we all have to guide our way through, in a sense. Don't really know where I'm going, I'm just relaxing, looking out to the sea. It's just a beautiful place. I'll turn the camera around. But basically what I'm trying to say is that when we allow our minds to be entrapped into the matrix, the system, we're going to have a perceived reality which is fed to us, which is not true, which is full of falsehoods, deception, and we're being misguided to act and do and think in ways which are not according to the ways of Jesus, to God, the creator of all things. And so basically when the mainstream media tells people to get frustrated about global injustices, racism being the latest in the long list of these injustices, and then people go out and protest these, and people should be angry about the injustices and the things which are happening, but it has to come from within here and from a strong desire, because you actually have a passion about changing the injustices that are in the world. Sorry. But the sad reality of the situation is that all the people, or the vast majority of the people getting upset and protesting this George Floyd case, are only doing so because the perceived reality they have plugged themselves into, or the mainstream media perceived reality of things, is telling them to get upset, is telling them to get passionate about these issues. And so, like good little robots, they all gather together, and when told to speak up, they speak up. When told to riot, they riot. When told to get angry, they get angry. When told to be passionate, they get passionate. But yet, not one of these individuals probably gave a damn of racial injustice before the mainstream media started speaking about it. Not one. Thousands upon thousands of black children on the African continent will die of malnutrition and starvation today. But yet I don't see the mainstream media or anyone else protesting that on a day-to-day basis. So you see how it works, you see how the deception works, that people only get compassionate and angry and upset and desire change when they're told to desire that change by the system, by the matrix. And if they're not told to get passionate about it, then they don't give a damn. They're just going about their daily lives like everyone else. So yeah, we need to break free from the matrix and from its reality that is fed to us. It's like visible light. Our bodies are tuned in to see the spectrum of visible light. So it's like a narrow field, but there's other forms of light, like infrared, which we don't see, which we can't see because our apparatus of our bodies is not tuned in to see the other frequencies of light, which is bouncing around all around us. It's the same with sounds. We can only hear a certain frequency of sound within a narrow field of range. And this is exactly the same sort of concept of what the matrix, what the mainstream platforms do. They lock people's consciousness, their minds, into a narrow frequency, a narrow band of perception. And when you stay within that narrow band, when you're told about another way of thinking, another truth, another possibility which may have happened, or how something may have occurred, or why something is being pushed upon us, and the real reasons behind it, the people which only focus within that perception of reality which is fed to them from the matrix will reject the new information because they're not they haven't got the critical thinking skills to do so. So this will bring me to my last point. There's a lot could be said on the subject, and I'm probably waffling on a bit or repeating myself. But the fact I'm trying to get across is, how do we break free from this matrix, from this narrow wavelength of thinking? And I think the way to do it is to get rid of the time we spend plugged into these systems of control, of these narratives which we feed off. Obviously we're all guilty of it to one extent or the other. This video I'm doing now, I'm going to use YouTube to post it, so I'm going to be using that narrow wavelength to post this video out. It'll probably get censored, the algorithms will put it to the bottom of the pile so no one ever really sees it, because that's modern day censorship, and that'll be another subject for another time. But we've got to turn off our mobile phones, we've got to delete social media accounts which are not helpful if we're not using them healthfully. We've got to get outside more, get out into nature, look at the trees, listen to the birds, look at the sky, listen to the waves and watch the ocean. And if we go within, if we seek God with all our heart, with all our intent, with all our desire, and meditate upon Him and seek Him and ask Him to reveal Himself to us, He will do so. He will. And from that we will actually grow in knowledge, and we'll be able to expand our mind, expand our consciousness, and draw closer to God. And because of that, we'll be able to break free from that narrow box which has been built for us. So yeah, I'm probably rambling on a bit, so I'll just leave it there for now. I think there's a lot I could say. There always is a lot I could say on many different things. But yeah, perceived reality, break free from the perceived reality we are given by the mainstream, by the matrix, by Satan himself is behind it all on the darkest, deepest levels, and return to God, and He will have mercy, and He will give us revelations and knowledge which is light, to break free from the darkness we have allowed ourselves to be entrapped in. So yeah, God bless you, and enjoy your day wherever you are. Bye, God bless.